If you're losing your passion for life, I'd like you to take a minute to listen to this post from iModernFish. I like to pretend I already died and ask God to send me back to Waterworld so I can swim in the ocean again and see dry land and get my heart broken and love my human friends and cry so hard on my transformer boat and go fishing 1,000 more times. And that I promised I would never forget the miracle of being here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Edging with Trash and Monk. I'm Trash.
And I'm Monk. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful piece of art, Brian.
I'm a big fan of transformational content and
reading someone else's post out loud.
Reading someone else's post. Well, I rewrote it.
Oh, interesting.
I rewrote it.
What is the original?
The original is from iModern Man.
Oh.
And it's like
it's some fascist shit. This is the shit you read in your free time.
That's what I like to read in my free time. I like to read Carnivore Aurelius and iModern Man, and what is it? Culture
Critic.
What is it? Is it like Culture? No, it's that fucking Art of Purpose. Yeah, Art of Purpose.
Yeah. Who's the one that's a pedophile again?
All of them.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Just love a marble statue account, okay, everybody?
Welcome, everyone, to our first episode of the new year. We're recording this right now on December 31st at 1809. 609 for all you non-military heads out there. For all you 12-hour perverts. So
reverts.
We've been deliberating about what movie to watch next on the show, what we're gonna usher in 2024 with, and what we decided is that 2024 is gonna be the year. It's gonna be the year no one wants. So we have to start this off with a movie about an unwanted child, for the baby new year that everyone will leave in its crib while it cries and cries and cries.
This is about having something you don't want around and neglecting it.
And nobody wants a big stinky fish man.
Nobody wants a big stinky fish man at all.
And we also didn't want to watch Edward Scissorhands, which was our other contender for this episode of the show.
Which is a strong contender, but also
yeah. It's too unwanted is the thing. Because you want your unwanted child at least a little bit, you know?
Yeah, you want to at least have an arc of possible redemption, and by redemption in this case, I mean growing want for what you're talking about here. And nobody can love Edward Scissorhands.
Nobody can love Edward Scissorhands. I love Waterworld. I don't know. I've never heard Brian talk about loving Waterworld before. It's definitely not one of the things that they won't shut up about.
Yeah, I've never talked about Waterworld. This is my first time watching Waterworld, in fact. I have never watched it hundreds of times before this or anything like that. It's not one of my favorite any day movies.
You can pop this thing off and 9 a.m. on a Wednesday and just watch Waterworld.
Yeah. And it's not like I can go ahead and just quote the movie while it's on. I definitely don't do that for Star Wars either. No, I've never watched a Star Wars movie.
Never.
Never. I would never.
This movie has a reputation. I think one of the things I'm a little bit more of a recent convert to Waterworld. I think I saw it the first time a year or so ago. It kind of rules.
I will admit, whips.
It does fucking whip. You're correct. The one thing I'll say, I was not expecting this movie to be pushing its woke ideology on me at all times. I think if I was Ron DeSantis, I would ban Waterworld from public schools.
I think that's pretty fair because the movie is very You know, they put Ron DeSantis on that in that painting on that boat. It's fucking wild. I mean, it's so funny because this movie's all about like it really is about overcoming difference.
Yeah. It's about how even if you're a freaky fish man, people should accept who you are because you've got your own strengths, like being able to breathe underwater that the surface dwellers might appreciate one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh it's honestly the I just can't even think of bad things about this movie other than like
It does have a reputation for being a really shitty movie, and honestly,
yeah,
I don't know why that is. I
me
genuinely don't
neither.
know why people hate Waterworld so much. It's long, yeah, and kind of nothing happens in it, yeah, but like those are two qualities that a lot of good movies have.
Yeah, and it's like long in like a pre-2000 way, you know,
Yeah,
where it's like,
it's,
oh no, it's 2 hours long, instead of it being like, oh, it's long,
it's
meaning that
like
it's like
3 hours and
3 hours long.
45 minutes.
Yeah, like get over it. Come on, it's a good movie. It's well made. It's funny. It's it's really cool. There's lots of cool sets. The outfits are all cool. It feels well imagined.
That was
The
something we were
it
talking about while watching the movie. Is if you're like in Hollywood as like a set designer or costume guy, then having like Waterworld on your resume is actually probably like, whoa, damn,
Yeah,
probably got
holy
you a few
shit.
gigs.
Yeah. Like every one of these outfits, you can look at it. They've put time in. They put
Yeah,
time into being like, oh yeah, these outfits are made of fish skins, or these outfits are made of like weird rubberized material that has survived hundreds of years since the deluge, you
or
know.
the
It's like,
antagonist wearing the six pack, the like plastic 6-pack holders around
yeah,
his neck that a sea turtle chokes on.
yeah. And it's all like it's all so telling of like part of the story. I don't know. This movie's just so beautiful.
Yeah,
Uh
and even if you don't care about the story, which I can, like, it's not the greatest, like, from a plot perspective in the
yeah.
world, but like, so who cares? You get to watch like Kevin Costner drink his own piss and hit a bunch of butt levers and shit. Like, genuinely, what do you want in a movie other than that? Genuinely,
Yeah.
what the fuck will you people be happy with?
Yeah. Like this is a movie where it's like, oh, we're doing like anybody who's watched like fucking not to bring Johnny Depp up again, but like if you've watched Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah,
like this has better swashbuckling.
that's true.
This shit's
Brian is an
just
expert on
better.
pirates from their time sailing the seas for 3 or 4 years.
From being from but my days of piracy. No, from academia. I'm sorry, everyone.
Do you think you could
Uh,
hack it as a pirate? Do you think your
no.
book smarts would let you sail
Well,
the high seas?
maybe. I feel like I'd die pretty quick of something,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be like, oh,
They'd hand you like a
Brian
piece
got
of like
shot.
stale bread and it would be like, does it have gluten in it?
Yeah, exactly. I'd die of malnutrition because I'm like constantly shitting myself. You
Yeah.
know, fucking, I'd get scurvy because I forget to eat fruit for like a week.
Well, you're
You
not
know,
straight, so you're already like 9/10 of the way there to being a pirate. So that's further
yeah,
than
that's
most people
true.
would get.
That's true. That's true. That's I am of course blessed with the F gene, and it is most of what piracy is about, and that's being gay with your friends on a boat.
That's true.
I feel like someone's gonna be like, well, actually, and I'm like, hey, hold on. You're talking to a scholar, okay? I'm a
Yeah.
minor scholar of like the golden age of piracy, okay? In the Caribbean. I'll be specific, okay? But
Yeah, so if someone went and they ask you about like a Barbary corsair, You would you have anything for them, or you just be like, sorry, you gotta go elsewhere for that?
I would probably recommend them another to go to another scholar for that one because my scholarly work was definitely focused
Yeah,
Caribbean style, focused on the triangle trade and its consequences in the Caribbean, and that was especially about piracy, and how it related to everything. It related to everything. It was huge. It was a
that's
huge
true.
deal.
That's true.
Slavery, piracy, the triangle trade, it's all connected, baby. It's all connected. I got the cork board. There's the red string going between all the things. I'm smoking
You're smoking some CBD.
smoking CBD vapes. Oh, speaking of which.
Hell yeah. We don't have any mail for this week.
I just checked actually. We got a
You just checked?
We got a couple of things.
I didn't hear you checking, so I don't know if you checked or not.
Yeah, I checked earlier. We got a couple of pieces here. We got something from Joey. Joey :3. Puzzle piece? What's that about? Anyways, Joey asks, longtime watcher, first time edger, and I have a question. Do you regret it? I don't regret what?
I'm
making an excellent podcast.
Yeah, I have nothing that I feel regret for at any point in my life, basically ever, aside from being born. But everything after that is just like, it was fucked from the start, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, fucking mood. You know what I'm beginning to regret, though?
Yeah.
Is not bullying Joey. So I'm going to start doing that. All right. And then we also got another piece of mail.
Who's next on Brian's hit list of people to bully on the show?
We also got a message from VGA on the Discord. Do my socks look hot? And I don't feel like looking up a picture, so I can't tell you. I can't say. Probably. I hope so. All right, there we go. That's our mailbox.
Yeah, you can reach us by smoke signal. More reliably, you can reach us at edgelordpod@gmail.com. You can also message either of us on whatever fucking platform, and neither of us have anything else going on that's going to keep us from reading it other than not seeing it, which might happen.
It could happen.
But
happen, but,
if you want us to say something on the show, feel free, and we'll say whatever you want, as long as it's not an advertisement.
Yeah, we'll say it. Just expect me to be mean.
That's true.
That's all. That's the edgelord promise. Is I will be mean to you. All the time.
Isn't the edgelord promise at some point we're gonna have to talk about the movie?
Yeah.
See, I think Waterworld, even though it's a great movie, I think Waterworld is actually going to be fairly difficult to podcast about, because it's a very kinetic movie. It's a lot of like gears turning around and things flying up and down in the air and things moving in circles. And
yeah, there's so few things to hate about the movie, which is usually what gets me going.
That's true.
Yeah, but also you're right. The visuals are such a huge part of it, and it's hard to describe. Like, yeah, Kevin Costner like lays on his back while holding the helm of the Transformer ship and spinning levers quickly.
Yeah.
For unknown purpose, other than it makes the ship move.
Or the guy, what's his face? The old dude gets pushed back into a lever that accidentally starts this whole Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah, Gregor?
Yeah.
The Waterworld's Einstein,
Waterworld's
Gregor.
Einstein. Waterworld's Nostradamus.
Yeah, so true. He loves to read. Nobody
He does
likes to
love to
read in
read.
Waterworld, but you know who does like to read? Gregor.
Gregor. I think Kevin Costner likes to read too.
Oh yeah, he's got all those Nat Geos. Well, I think he keeps them around mostly for the naked
Oh
people.
yeah. Yeah, that's how he's able to
But
that's how he's able to say no all the times he has proposition throughout the movie.
Yeah.
By just going, nah, I'm just gonna go jack it to this National Geographic I've got in my boat.
yeah, I got some Nat Geos. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about me, dog. I'm good.
I got this.
Set for life.
Y'all don't need my seed. You're dying anyways. Peace.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, that's. I love it because Kevin Costner really does play like while Ichthyos Sapien, the Mariner, is not a good person, right?
Yeah.
Plays like a pretty complex character in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
By which I mean evil in a lot of ways.
He's evil, but he's evil
still,
because he's used to surviving in a world where literally every other entity is out to kill him and take all of his things.
Exactly. He's a sicko because he needs to be a sicko.
A sicko by birth and not by choice.
And so it is the story of the fish man learning to love.
Eat this, Shape of Water.
Yeah, seriously. Fuck you, Shape of Water. I don't care about your fucking super fish man.
He lives in the bathtub. He's not a fucking badass pirate that drinks his own piss.
Yeah. The Shape of Water motherfucker would never drink piss.
Never, unless it's like that one lady's piss. I think you do that.
And that's a sex thing. It's not for to stay hydrated. It's not a Bear Grylls moment.
He doesn't have what it takes to survive on the open water. I do agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has to live in the bathtub. I don't know how that movie ended. Maybe he did go into this.
I don't know. I never watched it.
Me neither.
I never watched it. I just want to criticize it, okay?
Yeah.
But speaking of piss.
Yeah, speaking of drinking your own piss.
Should we get going with the movie? You want me to start outlining?
Yeah, go ahead and spill the piss.
Okay, so the movie opens up and it's like, here's the premise. In a world where water has covered everything up because they don't explain exactly why. But there's a lot of water now. You probably can guess why, because it was being talked about at the time. And it's still being talked about today because nothing changes. So it does that, and it's like, okay, we zoom in. And we're like, okay, water, pan up. You can see piss in a cup. Piss landing in a cup. And it's like, okay, we're cooking. We're cooking. This movie, we're cooking.
This is as we're talking about Kevin Costner drinking his own piss. This is the only movie I've seen that I think I can actually that I'm aware that Kevin Costner is in. He's the guy from Waterworld for me.
I know he's been in a shitload of stuff. I just can't think
Is he like a real actor?
In my head. Yeah.
Or is he just the Waterworld? He's definitely been in other movies.
Yeah, he's been in so many movies. But Waterworld's the one that I'm thinking of. Probably most people would associate him with Dances with Wolves, though.
Oh, I haven't seen that shit.
He also played Robin Hood. He's known for Robin Hood. Robin Hood. Oh, I'd watch that show. Let's see.
Yeah. So
what else? All sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
He's been in it for like 30 years. So.
Well, he's the guy from Waterworld. I'm sorry. There's nothing.
He's the guy from Waterworld. Yeah.
There's nothing that's going to change my mind on that.
Yeah. Agreed. That's what I think of when I think of Kevin Costner too. As well as other people that we'll bring up later. I don't know. Actually, it might be Mario for the other guy. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Chris Pratt is in this movie.
Chris Pratt. Yeah, Chris Pratt it plays a dead child on an
Damn.
atoll. It's pretty cool, actually. I really appreciate seeing Chris Pratt die in a movie. First time for anything, you know. Anyways, so piss. So Kevin Costner is pissing in a cup. He picks up the piss cup, pours it
Yeah.
into this like machine, and cranks it a few times. It looks like it's like distilling the piss into drinkable water. And then he I don't know if he washes it out. He just fills it up with water, clean water, non-piss water, from the machine, and then drinks it, and then drinks a little more, swishes it around, and then spits it out on his little lime tree that he has growing on the ship. And I just love that. I just love that whole sequence. How do you open a movie? Oh, pissing in a cup and then drinking the water from the piss and then spitting water from that piss into a fucking little lime tree, little baby bonsai lime tree that's got a bunch of little limes on it. How can you do better than that?
I don't think you can.
I don't know.
I don't
It's
think
so
there's a better
good.
way to open a movie. I'm trying to think of all the movie openings I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about ones that we've talked about on the podcast. So Underworld, great opening. Takes a little bit to get
Yeah.
to the point though. So minus points
Yeah.
for that. There's Blade.
Action
Blade has
right away.
Blade has the whole nightclub scene, but even then there's like a bunch of bullshit you have to do before you get to the nightclub scene. It doesn't just immediately open with Blade saying it's open season and all suckheads and killing everyone in the nightclub, you know?
Yeah.
This
They
movie,
have to cook, you know.
it starts off in space. It's like a shot of like the water rising up on covering all the land, and it zooms down onto Kevin Costner, and immediately piss right at the beginning of the
He's
movie.
pissing. Pissing. It's just like, that fucking rocks.
Yeah.
How can you do better than that? I don't know how you could do better than that. That's just such a good way to open a fucking movie. I feel like maybe it turns some people off. Maybe that's why people think it's a bad movie. They're like, piss. But,
I can't handle a little bit of piss because I've never
Yeah.
pissed or seen piss or been around piss.
Yeah, it's like, you fucking babies. You fucking literal babies.
When are they gonna fight Thanos? Where's all this piss coming from? They haven't explained the lore of why he's pissing.
We haven't had a 10-minute scene of slow motion shots of Chris Pratt stepping on people or whatever the fuck is happening in movies.
Whatever
That's
happens
every
in
movie
movies
these
these
days.
days.
That's all modern movies. It's just pictures of Chris Pratt stepping on fucking people's heads.
It's all Chris Pratt stepping on people, but it's never Seth Rogen crushing people with his massive tits.
Yeah, and that's a shame. That's a crime. More movies, Seth Rogen, massive bazongas. Okay.
More tits, more piss. Anyway, what happens after the pit? What happens after he's done sipping on his little pee fang?
He just goes and jumps into the water and sets no, he doesn't even set the timer this time. He's just doing it. And then it does like a little pan around the boat, and it just looks at all the spots on the boat, and it's like, look at the set. Look at this set. Isn't this nice?
Look at how much time we spent on this.
Some time. And then and then Kevin Costner comes back up, and he's just got a bunch of stuff. And he's checking out somebody steals some limes. And it's like, uh-oh, somebody's boarded the ship. And Kevin Costner puts on these boots that he found underwater. And he's like, wow, these are pretty cool boots. And they become important, you know? They become important pretty quick here. But then he notices this other boat. He has a little talk with the boat. They do a little bit of setting building where they're like, oh, yeah, you know, we got to do some things that are like the ritualized meeting between drifters is what people are called, who are not living a settled life on an atoll or perhaps a slaver or a smoker. These factions that we know nothing about at this point.
Yeah. So they're like he's hanging out with the guy, and they meet up, and he's like, we gotta trade. That's the law of the sea that we trade shit. Which is like, okay,
we trade.
Yeah. So he gives the info for free. He doesn't have anything to trade, or he doesn't want to trade because he's stocked up from an atoll that he tells Kevin Costner about off in the other direction. This is like by the way, our usual affectation is to call people by the names of their actors, but Kevin Costner remains unnamed through the movie. They call him the Mariner later, but I hate that, so I'm just gonna keep saying Kevin Costner.
I really like the Mariner. I also love Ichthyus Sapien a lot.
Ichthyus Sapien.
Yeah. That shit rocks. Gregor was cooking with that one.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It's bad. It's a bad binomial. It doesn't make sense in like traditional scientific form, but I don't care. It just fucking rips. So it's gonna get said. It's gonna get said.
Okay, so Ichthyus Sapien. To be fair, he like barely knows how to read, you know, so that's like that's not even on him. Like, oh no, the root word is wrong.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, the scientific like what's it called with the Linnaeus
Carl Linnaeus
nomenclature
binomial
thing.
name
Binomial nomenclature.
Yeah.
That's definitely surviving when there's one scientist left in the world and he's a fucking idiot. It's like, okay,
he's like a little pussy baby.
Yeah. Don't let the knowledge die with you. Like, okay.
So so Kevin Costner surfaces, he's got all this shit, and he's talking to this other guy, and he tells the other guy, we got to trade. And the other guy's like, nah, but I will tell you this info. Unknowing here, Ichthyos Sapien here does not realize that the trade has already occurred without his involvement, where he just took his limes.
Yeah, he just took the limes and was like, I guess we did trade, okay?
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were dead, so I boarded your ship and took your limes. So,
but so they talk for a little bit, and these guys in jet skis show up on the horizon. They both look at them and they're like, "Uh-oh, those are smokers out here." And Kevin Costner still has a little basket of supplies float in the water, and both him and his drifter friend look out into the water, see the basket, and they're like, the drifter's like, there ain't no way you're catching that. There is no way you're faster than they are. Kevin Costner's like, watch me, and runs off and starts all the machines on his ship.
Starts hitting levers, fucking slapping shit, and it's just like, oh yeah,
like all the sails rise up automatically.
It's an Autobot. It just fucking starts.
An Autoboat,
yeah. And he is the most talented sailor. This is like an amazing swashbuckling scene in this movie where there's no conflict happening other than that he needs to pick up some cargo, and the guy's moving like a fucking dancer on this boat. It's like, it's awesome. It's fucking so sick. Meanwhile, the other drifter's just like trying to sail away. He's like, I'm good. I'll be able to outrun these smokers right now. Then
he also shows Kevin Costner all the limes he stole. He's like, fuck you, I got your limes, asshole.
I got your limes. And Kevin Costner does not take kindly to that and realizes he could do something really, really mean right now, but would also make his life a lot easier. So he does it anyways. He goes and runs down the guy's boat and knocks the sail off of it with his wild catamaran that I have no idea how to describe really.
They call it the boat with 3 holes in the movie, and that's the only way that they even try to describe it. It is like the most it's like he's got all his tchotchkes everywhere, and he's got like a billion machines to do shit, and it is indescribable. I really don't know how I can relay the whole essence of that either.
Yeah, it's got some like outrider pontoons that are huge, as big as the main hull. And it's just like, it's nuts. Yeah, very cool. Clearly works very well in this movie. Yeah, I don't know what else I could. It's all made of metal. Everything's made out of like metal and trash.
Pretty much,
that's important to remember. Or plastic.
That's why Brian likes this movie so much, is they feel seen.
Yeah. I'm everywhere. Uh, anyways, the sail gets knocked down on this other drifter's boat, and I like commenting on like what this movie would be if it was made today, right? Like if it was made today, the other drifter would get like stuck in the webbing, and then Kevin Costner would like fish him out and be like, "Oh, you fucking rascal," and he'd still have the limes. They'd like share a lime afterwards, and they'd become friends.
You take a sip of
Some
his
bullshit
piss
like
and
that.
go like, "Well, that just happened."
Well, that just happened. But no, in this movie, motherfucker is therefore stranded in the little raft that he has with the sail on it, and the smokers come and execute him very visibly as Kevin Costner is sailing away. Kind
Listen,
of setting the tone for the movie.
they don't call it Nice World; they call it Waterworld.
Yeah, they want to make sure that everyone knows this is a rough place. Everything is very rough. Next scene, we get to the atoll, right? And
Hell yeah.
this atoll's got they aren't accepting traders, but Ichthyus Sapien has something they can't deny: dirt, a big jar of dirt. Where
doesn't even have what's his face's heart in it. No, you were just talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. You were just talking about Pirates
Davy
of the Caribbean.
Davy Jones.
That's his heart. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No magical MacGuffins dancing around.
It's just dirt.
A big jar of dirt, and everybody's fucking flipping out. As Kevin Costner is sailing in. Yeah. Kevin Costner's sailing in as there's a religious ceremony going on as they dip a dead body into this goopy green sludge, the sewer of this atoll that's just collecting and creating fertilizer and soil and all sorts of other stuff out of it. At least that's kind of the idea of it, because that's how they describe it later, is that Kevin Costner was nothing but soil to them because because of some things that'll happen. You'll hear about it. Yeah. They go to the trading spot. Oh, there's the kids. He flashes the little rear view mirror at the kids, and the kids are like, "Whoa, it's shiny." He's like, "You can have one if you make sure nothing disappears off my boat."
He gets talked to by the sheriff, who's like, "You know who I am? Like, I know." I know what you're here for. Some shit like that. Like some conversation.
I know what you are.
I know what you are. Tells him that he's got 2 hours to go and make his trades and get the fuck off of the island. Because they're really they're not the most trusting of outsiders. I think people are talking too about like other atolls have been raided or have just completely lost contact with the broader network of atolls recently, and they're skeptical about any sort of outsider.
They're worried. Dark days. The slavers and the smokers are out, and
I don't think we even made a slaver.
We never meet a slaver. We just hear about them.
Yeah, maybe for Waterworld 2. That's the lead in for that.
Yeah, I'd watch Waterworld 2. Anyways, they go to the trading spot. There's this guy that you've seen in 100,000 movies, and he's sitting there, and he's like, takes a little pinch of dirt and tastes it, and he's like, "Pure dirt." Pure dirt. And he's like, "We'll tally it like pure hydro," because pure water is also very expensive, right?
Yeah.
And
wait,
so he
water? I thought they were talking about
water?
hydrocodone.
Oh, maybe they were talking about painkillers. Yeah, entirely possible they were talking about painkillers.
I don't think they were, but it would be nice.
That'd
if
be really
were.
funny. Yeah, yeah. I mean, want to talk about something rare in Waterworld? Fucking 100-year-old hydrocodones.
150-year-old ludes.
You think they still work?
Maybe.
Man. Gotta take 2, but whatever. Yeah, so they're fucking chatting, and they're like, okay, well, here's the amount of chits you'll get for that. And Kevin Costner's like, all right, now double it. And this guy standing behind him nods. He's like, yeah, okay. Because apparently dirt is very precious. Then he goes to spend all the dirt money that he just got, all these chits.
All this company script.
Because that's what money is, I guess, is chits. I don't know why they even have money on an atoll. It's fucking bananas.
I think it is. I think it is exclusively to con traders. Because if you think about the dynamics of this, right? You're showing up to the atoll, and they're like, "All right, we'll give you 69 fun bucks for this," you know. And you haven't gone to the like Chuck E. Cheese prize redemption plaza to see how much everything costs at this point. So you're really just guessing at how much they're actually giving you for what this is. I don't think the chits are like cross atoll currency. I think it is literally just like store credit.
It might, in fact, be a way of preventing people from spending outside of the atoll too. I think that you could be very right about that. But yeah, anyways, it's that's what ends up happening. He goes to go and spend his chits at the bar where they serve water. And he gets some water, in fact a ton of water.
Yeah, this annoying guy sits next to him and starts talking to him about a bunch of bullshit and is like, get another water for me too, I'm sure this nice stranger will pay for it. Kevin Costner just says, no, one water.
Just one.
Speaking of the water bar, what you sipping on tonight, Brian?
I'm drinking a Lipton. Oh wait, no, not Lipton. I'm drinking what is it? Something gold tea.
Something gold.
It's British. It's a British
blue gold
tea. And it is with ginger,
Worcestershire gold,
and sugar. And this is my second time using this tea bag. So yeah, I'm going real. What is it called? I'm going Great Depression core right now.
Hell yeah,
yeah.
I'm drinking.
What about you? What are you sipping on?
Drinking a Boylan Bottling Company ginger ale and sugar soda. That is not nearly gingery enough for what I would want from a ginger ale, but you know what? You can't win them all.
Can't win them all. I've had Boylan's before, and they have some nice stuff. This is an ad for Boylan's now.
I would take a Boylan sponsorship. I think their ginger ale is an inferior product of theirs, but their black cherry soda, fucking 10 out of 10.
I believe I've had their root beer before, and
also good. I've had their birch beer.
Birch beer?
Yeah,
their birch beer. Yeah, their birch beer is fucking.
That was fire. They're not afraid to get the birch in that. They're afraid of the ginger in the ginger ale, though. So I don't know what the fuck to tell them other than trust your instincts, put more ginger in
it. Trust your instincts. You know it to be true. More ginger in your ginger beer. Yeah, fucking the birch beer is fire. I haven't had it in so long, but it was really good.
I should pick some. I think I picked up some ginger ale because I bought the birch beer and I was like, okay, let me try something else from them too. And I bought another thing of birch beer and the ginger ale, and then it just sat in my cupboard for a while because it's like, honestly, and I really hate to do my fucking boys in green over at the Boylan Bottling Co. like this, but it is like some Schweppes ass shit.
Not good. I guess for ginger ales, stick to Reeds, you know?
Yeah. Can't go wrong with Reeds.
Can't go wrong with Reeds. That shit's powerful, delicious. You know, not everything could be a winner.
The main root is pretty good too.
Main root?
Mm-hmm.
Like
the state of Maine. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's a Maine specific thing.
It's also in Texas. I'm sure you've seen it. They have it in hippie stores everywhere.
Well, I don't go to hippie stores anymore, so that's made it hard. Probably, I got to go find a nice hippie shop to go. Buy some hippie shit from. God damn it! Sometimes hippies get the best stuff, and
They do. The world is run by hippies. I have to say, but they're like shitty hippies.
Yeah, it's shitty hippies. except for the fucking soap people, Bronner's.
Yeah.
They seem pretty stand up, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, those are hippies that have been institutionalized, I think.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. They were like religious hippies too, and now they're not, but they were, you know?
Yeah.
They had like that they had that religious dad. It's like, I'm a fucking nutso preacher who's gonna write 10 pages onto a soap bottle. It's like, okay. And now they're like, all right, our dad was a bit of a crackpot, but like he was good, but he was a bit of a crackpot. We're gonna
Soap sure is good.
a little.
Was he one of those like people? Is Dr. Bronner's one of those things that's supposed to keep you from jerking off like cornflakes?
I don't think so.
Interesting.
I mean, you shouldn't use it to jerk off.
Yeah, please don't jerk your cock with Dr. Bronner.
That's like a bad idea. But
if you have jerked your cock with Dr. Bronner, don't do it for the show, but if you have, just coincidentally earlier on in your life, please email us at edgelordpod@gmail.com and tell us what it was like.
Yeah, I'm curious.
All right, what happens next in the movie? He's at the water bar.
Yeah, water bar, and then I guess I mean, I'm gonna try and keep it kind of brief and moving, right? So he's trying to leave. The guy that was harassing him, oh wait, no, skipping ahead, my bad. So they're like, there's a bunch of the elders from the city, and they're like, hey, Mariner, awkward request here, but could you fuck this girl? And he's like,
we need to stop
no?
inbreeding. We're fucking each other too much.
Yeah.
We're all like each other's like brothers and sisters at this point.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we don't want to like end up
like you
too fucked up, you know? So could you? And the Mariner's like, no, I got the Nat Geos at home. And then that makes all the elders really curious. They're like, what's wrong with this motherfucker? You don't spend that long at sea and not want to fuck. And I'm like, the Mariner's gay. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think there's a gay reading of this movie. I mean, you probably could like do a queer reading of the Mariner.
What? So a character has their gayness has to be part of their personality. They can't just be gay. Is that your contention here?
No,
you can't just be privately gay
to
them. I'm just trying to throw you.
I know, but I'm also going to take it seriously for the pod, you know? See, normally I would just be like, fuck off. But, you know, it's, you could do a queer reading of the Mariner, probably, in that the Mariner is an outcast from society because of his difference. But ultimately, I think it's kind of a weak reading, so I just wouldn't do it. Anyways, so they're like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? So they try and detain him. They're like, you probably work for the smokers. And they find out that he has gills behind his ears in the most epic scene ever, where this guy who is one of the guards of the city is looking at the back of his head. His eyes get really big. And the shot's great. The shot's just amazing. It's an over-the-shoulder shot, like over Kevin Costner's shoulder to the guy's face, center of screen, as his eyes get big. And he goes, gills. And then turns his head slowly and goes, a mutation!
Yeah. They get really like religious with it too. They get an impure spawn of Satan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they go and they're gonna kill Kevin Costner. They're gonna kill the Mariner. But then the sheriff guy starts hitting people with his blackjack. He's like, not like this. We have to use due process. And so they're like, fine, we'll put him in a cage overnight and then decide what to do with him. So nighttime, Kevin Costner's in the cage. A couple things happen. Gregor comes up and says, hey, I want to look at you. Maybe you know where Dryland is. And everybody's like, Dryland? What's this Dryland all about? It's kind of an ongoing part of the narrative that's emerging now. But these people are looking for dry land. Gregor is looking at him like a fucking weird curiosity and is like laughing, but he's like, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just very excited. And the mariner's like, I'll help you out if you can get me out of here. And Gregor's like, I don't have a key. Just get the mooring cleat from below. Okay. But then the sheriff sees him and is like, hey, what are you doing up there, Gregor? And Gregor's like, I'm not very brave.
I'm not a brave man. And then he petitions Kevin Costner once more for his assistance, going, don't let your secrets of dry land die with you.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let it die with you.
Kevin Costner does not give a shit, as he shouldn't.
Just shaking the cage, trying to get it loose.
Yeah.
Being like, motherfucker, I don't want to die. And maintaining relative calm. He's very calm throughout the whole movie.
He is a cool customer. He really is pretty much unshakable.
Mm-hmm. Except when he's shakeable every once in a while. But that's a whole thing. He's very protective of his things and his space. But yeah. So he's up there. The weird guy at the bar apparently took his boots and is rowing away on a little rowboat with them, and is like puts one up on the dash of the boat and like looks at him and is like, ha ha, fuck you, thanks for the boots. Let's see what else. I guess that's about it. Flash forward to the next day. They're about to dunk him into the sewage thing to recycle him, as they describe it.
I'm so glad you called him the soup too, because that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like a big nasty green soup. Not the kind you eat, the kind that kills you.
Yeah.
It's like, it's got chunks floating in it. It's not good.
Yeah. It probably fucking stinks too. It probably is like, that whole atoll probably smells like shit and rotting corpse.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the smells of life. It's very fecund, you know. Let's see. Yeah, so they're about to put him in. The sheriff's like, sorry, this shouldn't be happening to you, but this is my job.
Yeah. We used due process where we just decided to kill you.
Yeah. Yep, we decided to do it calmly rather than as a mob violence thing. So, you know, everybody kind of reflected and decided to still kill you. So that he's getting dropped into the slime. He's getting near the bottom. And then we get another one of these really cool scenes where a guy's looking out with like a telescope. He's looking around, keeping an eye out on the horizon. And then he sees smokers, a big raiding party of smokers. And it does even, I think, the like yo-yo thing where he like goes past them and back to it. They do that a couple times throughout the movie, which is very funny, very goofy. And he just like is visibly very scared and screams smokers very loudly, rings a bell. Everybody's like, ah. So Kevin Costner is just hanging by a fucking,
I think his exact
chain?
wording too is like coming straight out of the sun, because they're coming from
that's
like
right,
the
yeah.
east and the sunrise.
Yeah, that's right. They're using the sunrise as their
yeah.
as their.
It's a pretty good delivery. He's totally sold it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, lots of little performances that really sell it in this movie.
Yeah.
And so the smokers come, and the siege of the atoll begins. And fucking Kevin Costner's like, cut me loose, I'll fight. And nobody does. He keeps seeing all these things that happen near him that he just can't fucking get free. And he's like, God damn it. It's like, I got a thing I could get free. Oh, wait, it doesn't work. Oh, I got a thing I can get free. Oh, it doesn't work. And then
at one point some guy
like
comes
drowning.
like with like a jet ski and ramps into him and lands on top of the cage on top of him. And he still is like, it knocks the cage down, so he's officially fallen into the soup. But and I think the implication too is that he's just slowly sinking into the soup because of like sediment or some shit at the bottom. Well, like the people scum.
Yep.
But like quicksand, people quicksand.
Yeah. Quicksand, but it's people.
Yeah,
It is green.
that's true.
And it's soil.
That's true.
It's soylent green. Oh my god. And anyways, fucking yeah. So he's sinking in throughout this whole battle. He's just like slowly sinking in. And then Helen, the woman who was tending the bar, goes to go save him for some reason. I can't remember exactly what it was.
She's got so while all this is happening, Gregor has a little accident where he falls he falls backwards onto a lever that starts his whole contraption for his own emergency evac machine. He's got this flying balloon machine that lifts himself up into the air in this big lawn chair like that one guy tried to do.
Yeah.
Except
Probably
this time
inspired by this movie.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think the timeline for that actually works out.
Yeah.
But he started the whole chain reaction to get the thing to launch, and he can't make it land. So he's just sort of fucked at this point. So he's trying to get the what is her name? The bar lady.
Helen.
Helen. Okay. He's trying to get Helen up onto the lawn chair and tries to throw a rope to her, but he's a little fucking baby and can't throw it good. So he just gets caught in the rotors of his thing.
Yeah. He's a scientist, he's not a fighter.
Yeah.
As is very much told through the movie again and again, where he's like, I'm not the brave man. I'm not the brave man. I'm fucking. Oh no! I fell backwards onto the lever. Oh
yeah.
no!
So he flies away. So Helen and I wish I remembered literally anyone's name in the movie.
Enola.
Helen and Enola rush off over to Kevin Costner just because they happen to see him in the muck, and they're like, well, I guess he can help.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Enola we saw earlier when she was at the bar just messing around with some stuff, looking for something to draw with, and was told to go back inside. She had a little conversation with Gregor too, where Gregor dropped a little piece of exposition that she's got a tattoo on her back that shows the way to dry land, but nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to read it.
Yeah. It's in a language no one knows how to read.
Yep.
Oh. Until, well, then, that develops later. But Helen and Enola are using the Mariner to get out of the city. And so they help him out of the cage. He has like bullshit on his face when they're pulling him out of the cage. That is disgusting to look at, and it sticks in my mind.
He's covered in soup at this point.
Yeah, the soup has enveloped him. He has no real choice.
He probably swallowed some soup.
Yeah, almost certainly. I am surprised that he isn't visibly ill. Yeah, and so they go and rescue him and get the gates open. In the meantime, this battle's happening. People are dying all over the place. Fucking they get out, and there's this huge machine gun mounted on a boat. And there's this, God, I wish I could describe more about what goes on with the smokers because they're so fucking well designed.
Yeah, well, let's start with the obvious thing. They're chain smoking at all times.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them have like mountains of cigarettes, and they've got like their boats are all like gas powered, and they've got like these big heavy chokes on them that go mm-hmm. They're covered in soot and like black smoke from the engines of their shit. They're the only faction I think that has like guns and ammo. And they're fucking they do all these like fucking fancy maneuvers during the siege where they're like they've got these ladders on. It is like very Mad Max coded. I think when we first watched this, we watched it with Road Warrior just because it was a natural pairing. And they're like hoisting like these ladders up in the walls and getting stabbed and falling back down in the water. There's a lot of the fuckers are on jet skis, and they'll like dive their jet ski underwater and then surface up in the atoll past the walls, like shoot up out of the water like that.
Shit's fucking sick.
Yeah, it's they've got like they do look like they wandered out of Mad Max and just happened to end up in Waterworld.
Yeah, and it rocks. It fucking rocks. We meet Deacon. Deacon's the big bad of the movie, the main villain. He is a guy in a big military style coat, that you don't get all of the details out of at first, but he's like very clearly like the big bad. And he's got a couple of, what was the word used for them? The flag children.
Oh, he's got a couple of people delivering like semaphore instructions to the whole flotilla around him. But like as you see it in the movie, they're just waving the flags around like crazy.
Yeah.
Like supposedly that's instructing everyone on what to do, but it's just goofy looking when you see it.
It looks amazing. It's so goofy, but also really cool.
Yeah, no, goofy, positive, absolutely.
Yeah. They've got the big machine gun boat that's got the guy with like the it's just fucking dumping bullet shells out everywhere while they're firing.
He's got like an anti-aircraft gun.
The fucking, yeah, the shit's ridiculous. It's tearing through the atoll. Fucking his goggles are getting like blacked out with soot from the cannons. He's making like pig noises the entire time. I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, it's just like this stationary AA gun that's just fucking wasting the fucking buildings. Yeah. But the reason I brought that up, right, is as they're leaving, they have to do something about that gun, because it seems like it's gonna fucking destroy both Gregor's airship and also the Mariner's 3-hole. And so they shoot a harpoon at it and start bringing it around. And so they bring it around and it ends up shooting at Deacon's ship, which has just got a huge like bladder of gasoline on it. So as the guns are shooting up towards the ship, Deacon's like, fuck, and jumps off, and the ship just explodes.
There's like a lot of build up to it too, where they realize what's happening and they're like, tell him to stop shooting, shout at him, Chuck, maybe he goes by Charles.
Yeah, Charles. And the guy who's piloting the gunship is like, stop! Tell him to stop shooting. And the kids that were loading the guns are both just holding their ears, like, because it's so loud.
Yeah.
The guy who's shooting the gun can't hear a damn thing and is still just making pig noises. His mask even has like a little cover for just his nose, and it just looks like a pig nose. I'm like, it's so good. But yeah, they end up blowing the thing up. It's just so fucking sick. So they're free. There's some flashbacks to the city, but there's still like an ongoing ground war happening in the atoll. And some people get away. You see the sheriff specifically get away with his child, who was not mentioned before that, but but they had to be like, hey, look, he's got a kid and they're getting out. Look, not everyone died. Okay. Which doesn't really matter for most of the movie, but comes back a little bit at the end. So they're getting away. You get this is kind of a slow period, which is supposed to be how you feel when you're on the sea for a really long time. You just, there's nothing happening. Yeah. Everybody's worried about like fucking not being able to stay hydrated or eat. Kevin Costner says that he should kill the child so that they don't both die of dehydration slowly.
Yeah.
That kind of thing is like a concern. So they talk about a lot about practical concerns because the ship's pretty fucked up after the battle. The piss processor has been shattered, apparently. Yeah, there's like problems. There's problems. Things are tough.
But foremost among the problems is Kevin Costner has a goddamn kid drawing little pictures all over his boat. And he's not about to stand for that. It is his least. He has his ship exactly how he wants it. No drawings allowed. No fun allowed. Stay the fuck out of his way, or he's going to throw you overboard, which he literally does.
He literally does, and that's how we find out that Ebola doesn't know how to swim in Waterworld. Continuing to bring evidence to the fact that she is not of this world. She is a land person. Even though that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, seeing as she clearly was a baby when she was found and is growing up on the ocean. But metaphorically, it's interesting. That's the whole reason it's there. She can't do it. She's meant for land. It's like, okay, got it. Let's see.
They're really not subtle at all with the movies writing. It's like, I appreciate it a lot because it's very funny how they refuse to use any form of subtlety whatsoever. There's another example of that I'll wait for a little bit. Actually, I think we sort of see it now for the first time, although it's only sort of expanded on later. All this is going on with all the drama on the catamaran between this newfound family. The smokers are back at their big oil tanker ship assessing their situation, and it's fucking it's awesome. They've got like this car to drive around the ship that Deacon rides in, and but it doesn't like fully work, so it's like there's a gas motor in it that's running, but it's being heavily assisted by two people pushing the car. And then there's two people in front too that are, I don't think it's on rails, no, but there are two people on the front of it that are just scraping trash out of the way because people are just throwing their trash all over the place. Like shuffleboard.
I believe we're also introduced to the name of the ship at this point.
Yeah, the Exxon Valdez.
The D's. It's the D's. Literally, they call it the D's. Short for Exxon Valdez.
The D's nuts.
Subtle. It's subtle. It's very subtle. Do you know this movie?
Do you know this movie cares about the environment?
Yeah.
They're also talking they sort of going back to how woke the movie is. They do drop all the time like the idea of like the people before us must have done something horrible to make everything end up this way.
Yep, they do. They sure do. They talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Also, just like how everyone is like a fucking monster. Like everything is like religious coded. Even the like okay people are like the atoll people are like real shitty.
Yeah,
they're just like we hate. Why are these movies always about miscegenation? Is one thing that I'm fucking like.
People like talking about that in movies.
Why does this happen so much? Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, fucking no one can sleep with the fucking Muto because the Muto is gonna like destroy our species, and it's like, what?
Don't you want to have gills? Wouldn't that be like sick if you could breathe underwater in Waterworld?
Yeah, wouldn't that be useful? Wouldn't that be good for you people in Waterworld? And they're like, I don't know. I think it's bad for us to change. And so, and that's not just them. That is also the smokers believe the same thing. They're both, they're also like hella anti mutation, right?
They also have this other angle where the smokers are like literally like a mega church where they have a deacon that they worship. They have a patron saint that I'll save for a little bit later to reveal. They have like they're always talking about how like growth. They literally say growth is progress over and over and over again during the movie.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, it's so good. It's like, oh look, post-apocalyptic world where everybody sucks. I'm just like, damn, fucking spoon feed this to me, please. I love this movie so much.
So here's also where we're introduced to my favorite character in the movie. They're sort of assessing their supply levels after that raid, and they go into the oil tanker they drive around in, and they there's a big hatch they open up, and they shout down into the hatch, and there's a little man in there who lives in their oil tank, floating around on a piece of garbage with these big glasses like bubbles from Trailer Park. He's telling him, "Oh, you should know that there's only 4 feet 9 inches of of oil left in here." And the deacon is like, "Thanks," and spits in his mouth.
To which he thanks Deacon.
Yeah. You're right. He thanks Deacon for the spit.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. Fucking amazing stuff. Fucking yeah, he's sitting down there, and then Deacon lights a match to, do a cigarette, and then he like throws the match over at the hatch, just as like a joke, basically. Yeah. And like the like ship nerd catches it and is like, and he says, "Gotta be on your toes," and it's like, oh my God, it's fucking these sickos. Yeah, but I also love that character. I want to look something up because I feel like it should be true. I just want him to be named Karen. Like Greek Karen, Charlon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that'd be so much fun.
This is the Google section of the podcast.
Yeah, we're Googling. We're Googling. Monk didn't want to do this, but I can't help myself. So
no, so
I'm a sicko.
What else is fucking? Well, you Google that. What else fucking happens on this boat? They've got limited oil supplies left, and they're talking about how it's only going to last a couple of months, which they call lunars, of course, which because that's the correct thing for them to call it. So they are talking about their plans for how the fuck they're gonna handle not having oil, and it's simple. They just need to find dry land and build a golf course. They're always talking about fucking golf and paving nature.
They love golf. Also, by the way, the name of that character is Depth Gauge. I can't believe it. They really were like, yeah, this guy's name is Depth Gauge because that's all he does. He does the depth. He gauges depth.
Pretty much.
Fantastic. You ever meet a guy who lives in an oil tanker in the oil well, just chilling, just living that Huff life? Truly. Oh my God.
So meanwhile,
there's exactly 9 feet and 4 inches of the black stuff. That's his quote. These are his quotes. There's 2 quotes. I can't do the other one yet because it's too early. Oh, thank God. Yeah.
So while all this is happening, back on the boat, Kevin Costner is being an abusive father figure to the child again. to the whole new family that he's found himself with. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a real piece of shit.
Where they so they meet this creepy guy out in the waves.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, the creepy guy.
Yeah, who's he's been out there a little bit too long because they're trying to trade with someone because they don't have any food, they don't have enough water, and they need some resin to fix the boat up. Guy doesn't have any resin. The guy's like, no one has resin. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
But they do trade for like a really shitty fishing pole and some other gewgaws and doodads. And the guy pulls Kevin Costner aside for a little bit and is like, "Hey, first he says something really gross. You've got yourself a harem here, don't you?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I got something special I've been saving for the right trade. And he pulls out this glass jar with like 3 shitty pieces of paper.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, look, paper. You couldn't say no to paper, could you?
Paper. It's paper.
Yeah, that is a good impression. He's like rubbing his face on it.
The character's portrayal here is so good too, because he's always like, but don't go too far now. It's like just stuttering very clearly, like having some sun issues, like hasn't drank water in a week, like on the verge of death guy. He talks about food. He's like, I haven't eaten in forever is literally what he says. Yeah, the guy's fucked. God.
So in exchange for the paper, Kevin Costner barters away 30 minutes with Helen, the adult woman who he has on his boat.
Yeah, the guy says that he says something about the wee one and how he likes to do the talking, which is like, oh, okay, so he's a pedophile.
Yeah,
but
Kevin Costner thankfully says no, which a lot of these edgelord movies do not have a Kevin Costner figure.
Yeah,
to say no, we can't have pedophilia in the movie.
Yeah, he says no, none of that.
There aren't enough Kevin Costners to go around.
I know, right? Thank you for stemming the tide, Kevin, against the other Kevin.
Yeah,
because this was also directed by Kevin.
That's true. Who played the stuttering guy?
Oh, what's his name?
So
I know I've seen him
Kevin?
in like a million things. No, he's not a Kevin.
God damn it. So
I can have this in just a second.
Not Kevin takes Helen below decks, talks about some insane shit, and tries to grab her, and she pushes him away. And Kevin, after looking at these 3 pieces of paper for a little while and hearing the commotion downstairs, throws the paper back at the guy and says, "Deal's off."
Yeah. By the way, Drifter 2 is the name of the character. Played by Kim Coates. Kim Coates.
Okay. That's a K name.
Yeah. It is a K name, yeah. Also famously was in Sons of Anarchy. Played a real sick fucking that. At pretty much everything that he's ever played, he plays a real sick motherfucker.
I bet it was really fun to be the stuttering guy. A played out role as the stuttering guy.
Oh, absolutely. If somebody were like, "Hey, could you play stuttering guy in Waterworld?" Paper.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Yeah, I would love to."
Would they even have to pay you, or would you just do it for fun?
I don't work for free, but I'd probably take a pretty choice deal. So for Waterworld 2, if anyone needs an actor, I'm just saying, I'll play a real fucking creep on screen. Don't you worry about it. God. Yeah. So let's see. So yeah, Kevin Costner goes below deck and has a knife fight with the guy. And you think for a moment that Drifter number 2, played by Kim Coates, survives the fight because he comes up, but then he starts like bleeding out of his mouth. He has blood on his back, and it's like, oh, he's dead. Okay, got it. And Kevin Costner comes up and he's like, well, yeah, dealt with that. I'm gonna loot his boat now. So yeah, he loots the boat and then throws. I was joking that they should eat Kim Coates.
Yeah. They should have.
But they did not do that. They should have done cannibalism.
They should have eaten the pork of the sea.
See, that's one of the things that I think it would have been really good to bring into this is that that cannibalism is fine to do in a post-apocalyptic setting. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm
You just cut off their
hey,
hands and their feet first.
there's a reason they called it the custom of the sea, okay? And I gotta say, this is Waterworld. It's one big ocean, baby. Get eaten people, okay?
The fish do it. The fish eat each other all the fucking time.
Yeah.
You put a crab in a room with another crab and no other food, one of those crabs getting eaten.
I love that you said fish, and then you
crabs are fish, but also there's other fish that do that shit. Crab, they're little creepy guys that live underwater. Those are fish.
Fish or anything that lives underwater. You heard.
Okay, no, you're right. Crabs are bugs. They're not fish.
They are bugs. Thank you.
But still, the fish do it too. The crabs not being fish doesn't change that the fish do it.
Yeah. Yeah, fish are also one species.
Fish will eat other fish of the same species. You don't fucking get on my case about this.
Yeah. It's actually cannibalism when an ape eats another ape eats a human, you know? I don't know if you know that.
What would they call it? Because do you think apes want to eat us? Do you think an ape would be like, this tastes good?
No, they mostly don't eat a whole lot of meat, but every once in a while they get around to it. But you know, I could see like a chimpanzee potentially doing it.
Yeah.
Most other ones not so much.
Yeah.
I don't even know if like a fucking gorilla could, you know? And a bonobo? No chance. They're too busy fucking.
You know, gorillas' cocks are smaller than ours.
Yeah, but they got massive balls. I don't know why I know this. I don't know that I do know it. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. What's up next? I think I just didn't talk about I wrote Drifter with the paper and then didn't want to write anything else about it.
Yeah.
We skipped a part. Smoker plane. This is important.
Oh, yeah.
There's information to reveal. Okay. There's information to reveal. Okay. So this is an early role of Jack Black.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I did not recognize him.
Yeah. That is Jack Black piloting the plane.
Interesting.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? There's a plane that flies over it's a scout from the smokers. And it becomes this whole thing. The scene ultimately can be summed up as there's a plane, they spot the ship, they start shooting the ship.
I don't even think they start shooting the ship. I think they like are just flying nearby and they get a harpoon launched at them. So what happens is
there was Dollar Store Eddie Murphy was shooting the ship up. That was happening. I don't know why he looks so much like Eddie Murphy to me, but I think it's mostly because he's like completely he's got like a full cap, and maybe it is Eddie Murphy. That'd be really funny.
Jack Black and Eddie Murphy.
No, it's not.
But yeah, so they're the plane sees them and they're like shooting, I guess. I don't know.
No, it was Charlie Murphy. My bad. I'm kidding.
So they're shooting the catamaran up, and Kevin Costner, who just goes nonverbal when under a crisis situation, as you should, runs under the boat. And Helen's shouting at him like, "What? Why don't you help me? Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" Running away. So she takes matters into her own hands, and she takes the harpoon that they fired previously at the smoker ship to swing it around. He fires that harpoon up at the plane and nails it and impales the Discount Eddie Murphy guy in the gunner seat. However, there's a big rope attached to that harpoon. So now they're attached to the plane, who's flying around in circles Jack Black at the helm, apparently.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
doing
Jack Black, who
the
was hard to recognize because he's so covered in grime and weird clothes. Um, yeah, it's and he's trying to shoot the rope as the rope's wrapping around the central mast of the thing.
yeah.
And Kevin Costner's trying to cut the rope.
Yeah, he comes back
Everyone's
up from
trying to
below
cut the
decks
rope.
with a real harpoon that isn't attached to the boat.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
she's trying to cut the rope at the helm of the ship by the where it's attached to the harpoon gun, and Kevin Costner shoots up onto the mast to try to cut the rope up there. But what ends up happening is the harpoon, the bolts on it are old and stripped out, and it gets pulled up out of the ship, knocks a big chunk of the mast over. Jack Black shoots the rope and gets away, and also when he shoots the rope, it releases a bunch of tension, and Kevin Costner flying into the sea, and then he screams at Helen and Enola again.
He's very mad because he got thrown into the water.
Yeah.
And is completely fine.
Yeah.
And
And takes a big knife and slices all of their hair off.
Slices all of Helen's hair off.
Yeah.
And then Enola makes a comment, and he's like, "Well, I guess I'm doing you too." And so he cuts all of her hair off. Yeah, and also this is all in reference. The hair cutting is all in reference to how Enola said before all of this that his hair was ugly and he would look better without his hair. And so it's just like this. I had never noticed before this watch through that was in reference to that. But yeah, it's all about just like, well, now you don't get any hair. Like,
movie's all about layers.
It's the most petty shit. It's so petty. But he's a petty little man. He really is. He grows throughout the movie, but he's for the first half of the movie, he's just a real petty, shitty guy. Yeah. Let's see what happens next.
I think next is the smoker boat. But next for our intrepid heroes on the catamaran, they Helen is what happens next is actually they catch the fish, right? Because they
go fishing. So we got a little out of order here.
Yeah.
Drifter with the paper came up next, and then fishing for the big fish. Where Helen is like, damn, it'd be really cool if we could fucking eat. And they really amp that up in the mix, and her scream is just like perfect. It's perfectly cut too. And he's like, okay, so he goes, that's right. That's after throwing the fishing rod into the water. She got a fishing rod and is like, I'm going to fish. And he's like, you're not going to get anything with that. You know what's going to get you fish? The most advanced form of noodling you've ever seen. And so he goes below deck and starts loading up a thing. And it's like, okay. And she's like, I'm sorry for yelling, but like, we need to eat something. He's like, yeah.
He's not like, yeah. He's completely nonverbal.
Oh, yeah. Completely nonverbal again. My bad. Yeah. And then he grabs a rope, and it gets the motor running. He's like very slowly moving the boat, dragging himself behind it, just doing like weird swim moves. And they're just watching him like, what's going on? And this huge fish comes and eats him. Like, oh no. The CGI is not very good, but it's also very brief. And
it's
they
not
mix
like
it with practical effects. So it's like, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
So he just fucking this like weird double spike harpoon. He fires it and the fish just explodes. And then they're eating. They're eating good in the neighborhood. They go to Applebee's.
And they're frying these big chunks of blubber over like charcoal.
Yep. On a little charcoal grill.
Yeah.
he says, "Are you happy now?" And both of them are nodding yes, and while stuffing their faces with this like it hardly cooked meat. Just it's a really good scene. It was a good scene. Uh, let's see. Was there anything else from that scene?
I think this is also when he teaches Enola how to swim, and Helen's watching and is like, "Oh, he can be a good dad too when he's not being psychotic."
Yeah. Oh, he's learning to like not hate both of us intrinsically for being human.
Yeah.
And you know, like rightfully, but also,
Yeah.
but also, please stop hating.
So please stop shouting at us and throwing us overboard and slicing all our hair off and telling you, "Oh, you're going to kill us."
Yeah.
So at this point,
then, okay,
after teaching Enola to swim, they're talking about fucking dry land again and how they got to get there. And they roll up on this trading post where Kevin Costner shouts out to it in the dialect of the sea, Portugreek.
Yeah, you gotta love Portugreek.
He's shouting out at them, and they're just waving hello, hi, and they don't hear anything back, so they keep taking the boat up, but something seems off with their smiles and waves, and the camera cuts over to it, and it's a bunch of dead bodies have been put up on marionette strings, waving hello. Mm-hmm. While Deacon and his creeps are up hiding at the top, waiting for Kevin Costner to fall into their trap. And then Kevin Costner realizes something's up and goes below decks to his underwater periscope and sees jet skis hiding out underwater with tubes that the pilots are drinking through.
Like a fucking Looney Tunes episode.
So he's like, "All right, we got to get out of here." He turns the boat around, and this is I think an example of how the writing for the movie is not like stellar, because realistically all that this scene is it's they roll up on a place, they're bad guys there, and they get away. Mm-hmm. It's not really there to advance the plot in any way, but they sort of they do this fucking insane maneuver on the boat to get out of there, where they like move all of their weight to one of the three holes on the starboard side, and lift the port side up out of the water, because they've got this big net they're trying to circle around them. So they lift the port side up over the net, and they run from starboard to port and like lean off the side in order to lift the starboard side away from the net. And they just barely make it, and all the jet skis crash into each other. It's like a whole thing. And it's badass watching it.
Benny Hill starts playing while they're all crashing into each other. Deacon's like, "Concern it, these goddamn liberals."
Yeah. And this is my This is my big pet peeve with people who are like, "Oh, the plot of the movie is not very good." Extending to movies beyond this one too, because it's like, do you actually like? It's one thing if the plot is bad, right? But it's another thing if the plot is like threadbare and it's just leading you to the conclusion where you can you're watching, it's leading up to some cool shit that you can watch happening, and watching like Kevin Costner run around the boat and all the machines go off, and he's leaning off the side, and he's playing around on his little catamaran, and you see all his cool contraptions. That's like its own reward. Like, what the fuck else do you want?
It's fun. And nobody was complaining about that with fucking like Pirates of the Caribbean, where all the same shit is happening, right? It's just like taste in movies changed, right?
Yeah.
This came out and everybody was like, "Oh, what's all this bullshit? Why is this like an action movie? It's supposed to be like a sci-fi movie." But because it was like a combination of the two, right? It's just like, oh, you have two groups that are both not liking the other half of the movie. But then, you got other movies that come out that are kind of the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is like the best swashbuckling I've ever fucking seen in the movie. And it's like, yes, that's what it is. It's really good. It's really good for that.
Yeah,
It
if
just
nothing
doesn't
else,
have pirates.
if nothing else, like we've there's a lot of movies that we watch on the show where it's like you can skip this one. I would like it nothing more out of all the movies that we have covered on the show and potentially will cover. If you're only going to watch one, I think Waterworld might unironically be the one that you should watch.
Yeah, it is. I've been advocating for this movie to like get a second look for so long. This movie is so good for like what it is, right? Like I don't mean it's not like fucking,
it's not like
some
fucking
like high art piece or anything, but it's like not nearly as shit as everybody says it is.
Yeah.
And so, please do give it a second watch.
And then email us at edgelordpod@gmail.com and let us know what you thought about Waterworld.
Yeah, let us know what you thought. Let us know also that you watched it because of us, because I would love to be having a positive effect in the world in one of the few ways that I really can. Please give me this. I want to be bringing the love of Waterworld to the people.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe it will prepare you for what life will be like in about 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, I know, right? It's going to be great. We're all going to be riding around on boats, dehydrated.
Eating each other.
Pissing in cups.
I think my boat would not have
piss.
Nearly as many cool machines as Kevin Costner's boat. I don't think I'm going to be prepared for all the mechanical engineering necessary to make a big winch out of trash that zips you around to the other side of the boat.
Yeah. It'd be more like the new boat that he gets at the I can't talk about that yet because it's the end of the movie.
Bum, bum, bum.
Let's see. Also, I just want to bring back Portugreek one more time. Portugreek. Clearly a combination of Portuguese and Greek. But I just can't help but feel that Portugreek was inspired by the spice fenugreek. And if I can get confirmation about that, please send us a message.
Oh my God. If Kevin Costner or someone else involved in the production or distribution of Waterworld watches this movie, I would also like.
Yeah, I would please like to hear from you because you've been unfairly maligned.
Yeah.
Jack Black, if you hear from us, please.
I would love to talk to Jack Black only about Waterworld and about no other part of his career.
No other part of his career at all. I want to talk about the weird thing that you were in that nobody knows you for.
I'm calling Jack Black the guy from Waterworld from now on.
Fuck yeah. And if this podcast could turn into like Nardwar, but for movies, that'd be fucking sick. I'd be into that, Yeah. I'm just saying, okay? Anyways, I'm just dreaming, okay? I'm dreaming with you.
This is why you need to rate us 5 stars in every platform you possibly can, so we can have Jack Black and George Santos on the podcast.
Jack Black, George Santos, Seth Rogen, so we could talk about getting that movie made.
Yeah, that one is business outside of the podcast, but we'll have him on the podcast too.
Yeah, get it all going, Okay, let's see.
So I think what's next is they find dry land in the dry land that Kevin Costner is familiar with, at least. So they like
dry land, yeah.
They're in this kind of fucked situation, and they're fighting again on the catamaran. There's another domestic dispute happening on the catamaran where Helen is going, we got to go to dry land. We can make it there, right? And Kevin Costner says there is no dry land. But Helen is like, no,
it's a myth.
You're bullshitting me. You've got all this cool shit on your boat. How's you get you this dope ass shit if you haven't found dry land? And so what Kevin Costner does at this point, takes out the diving bell and he takes her underwater where they see that yeah.
I got something. Okay, so his response to that is, because I've sailed farther than most have dreamed. And I've never seen dry land. And it's one of those phrases that makes me think an entire movie was built around it. Like this is that operational phrase that somebody wrote.
Yeah.
They're like, that's the movie.
Yeah. Somebody's nephew
That's the
wrote that
fucking
on a
movie.
post-it note, and they're like, all right.
They're like, all right,
Guys
I'm
are
gonna
doing
build a whole
this.
script around this. And I just love it. I love finding that like one spot of like extreme earnestness in a script where it's just like, okay, that was the spot that it started, and it all built out from there. I don't know if it's actually true, but it's what I think.
I think you
Which
may
is
be
true to
onto
me.
something there, but I think there are multiple moments like that throughout the movie too.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of other stuff too.
It's hard to pin down which
One of
one
the
is the
writers-
real one.
One of the writers put that one in there though, and was like, "Yeah, that's earnest as fuck." But yeah, then the bathysphere thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she goes down in the diving bell, and they go down, down, down to the bottom of the ocean, where they see downtown Los Angeles. I don't know if it's LA. They don't really say, but it doesn't matter. It's underwater. No one lives there, except some fish, maybe in like a reef in like a concrete building. That'd be pretty dope.
And well, maybe there's actually a bunch of people living in that submarine that crashed into a high rise.
Oh, the one they made out of carbon fiber.
The one they made out of carbon fiber and the tears of children. They're hosted in Seattle. It's great.
But so they're diving around, and he shows her the dirt, and this is where he got the dirt at the beginning of the movie. He traded for all those chits. And she realizes maybe there is no trial.
Maybe the dream is a lie. Maybe the dream is a lie. Maybe he's right. Throwing a wet blanket on the dream.
And then
Uh,
to add insult to injury, they surface from the diving bell and are immediately ambushed by like a billion smokers who are on the boat.
yeah, I like it when it's like, oh yeah, because when the Porto-Greek scene happens, the mariner gets shot and is bleeding in the water. And so Deacon is like, all right, we'll send the trackers after him. And the trackers are these guys with shark fins on them, I guess, that like swim around following blood. I don't know what the fuck. They don't really give a whole lot of stuff. They just show some shark fins going and like going under the ship when Enola's sitting there watching the diving bell.
Maybe they just have sharks. Maybe they have like trained sharks that are just
Yeah, maybe.
deploying over it.
Yeah, they've got these trained sharks that have
I guess you don't need to train them. Is it metal?
Probably
It looks
not,
like
yeah.
a real fin. I thought those were
It
actually
did?
just sharks in the water.
I'm pretty sure they were metal fins, but I'm not 100% sure.
But anyway,
I like metal fins better. Metal shark.
no matter how it happened, they're on the boat.
They're on the boat.
Enola is nowhere to be found, and the deacon pointing a gun around, doing the bit that he did earlier in the atoll, where he's like, "First one of you to tell me where she is lives. There are no runners up."
Yep.
And he also takes two fingers and jams them right into Kevin Costner's bullet tussie.
As a way of reminding, hey,
Yeah.
I did that. It's
I
like
did that.
Joe Biden. He's Joe Biden. I did
It's
that.
Joe Biden.
He's Joe Biden. Joe Budden.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Let's see.
But
What's up next? Oh yeah,
yeah, if you got notes,
So
feel
they're-
free. I'm just
I do. Yeah, they're there, and so he's like, Deacon's like, oh well, if neither of you are gonna talk, I guess I'll just have to kill both of you. So he throws them both onto the ground and then shoots twice in the air. And Enola's like, no, and he's like, you're so gullible, and kidnaps the child and is like, okay, now kill those two. But they jump into the water, and the mariner breathes for both of them. Is how it's put.
Yeah,
The
they
mariner's
embrace.
breathing with his ears, and they're kissing. but the Mariner's just breathing for both of them. And she looks fucking like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
So relatable.
Yeah, for real.
It's like, is this a platonic breathing for me or what? Like, what do you expect me to do right here?
Is this romantic or platonic? I just don't know. Let's see. They get back up to the ship, and I believe it is inferred that they do finally smash. She asks, "Why didn't you have sex with me before?" He said, "Because you didn't want to. Obviously, clearly, you didn't want to. You were just offering yourself up to me to like keep Enola alive, and I'm not that bad of a person." And it's like, oh, okay.
Thank you, Kevin Costner.
He's not that bad of a person.
Yeah, he's not that. He's
all he does is bad person, but sometimes
he will scream at you and throw you overboard, but he will not. There's lines he won't cross.
Yeah, he's not gonna drown you.
Yeah, he even stopped the ship after throwing the kid over.
Yeah, he stopped the ship. He turned it around and picked the kid up. You know.
Yeah, he's a big
bad,
softy.
But he's not that bad, but he's bad. But he's not that bad. He's getting better. You know. That's. Yeah.
He's learning like we all are.
He's learning, you know. Who hasn't dropped their child off on the side of the road for crying too much and then come back and picked him up and been like, that was bad of me.
Yeah.
I
haven't because I don't have a kid.
I also haven't because I don't have a kid. I just know people who have kids who've maybe done that before.
You want to name names?
All I gotta say is my poor sister. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, kind of. I don't know. Okay. Let's move on. Sorry to anyone who feels personally attacked by me saying that.
This was a joke, and Brian is actually talking about Alec Baldwin, who did this right before killing that guy in the movies.
Exactly.
Longtime enemy of the podcast, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, we don't fuck with Alec Baldwin here, okay?
He was okay on 30 Rock, but still.
No, he's funny. He's honestly, Alec Baldwin's pretty funny sometimes, but he's I don't know. I don't like his vibe, you know.
No. And you know who else's vibe I don't like is these GD smokers who who ran
smoking.
They torched the boat.
It's never too young to start.
They torch the boat. They take Enola back to their headquarters, and they're immediately like, "Hey, kid, you want a cigarette?"
Yep, immediately. Deacon comes into the cage where they're keeping the child with this like big guy who's watching over her, and Deacon's like, "Okay, I'll be good cop. Why don't you take those chains off of her? What are you, some sort of animal? Want a cigarette? Never too young to start." Amazing.
And the kid doesn't offer the cigarette. The kid spends the whole time going, "Kevin Costner is going to rescue me because he is swift as a cheetah and strong as lightning."
There's some really good ones in there. Fucking
he can hide in the shadow of the noon sun.
I know, that was so good. Oh, did I not write any of them down?
No, I think it's a little bit later too in the movie when that actually starts happening. But yeah, so they've got the kid and they've got the tattoo on her and they're trying to they can't figure it out either because they're fucking dumbasses. But they're talking
like
about
even dumber.
Yeah, they're talking about like cutting the tattoo off of the kid so that it can be flat and then they'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe if we cut it off the kid, we could stretch it out. The nerd is like, let's cut the kid up.
Yeah,
and the nerd with emphysema on the ship. He's always got his oxygen on. It's like, what's going on with that design? I mean, I guess they're the smokers. It makes sense.
Yeah, and this is also where we see that the patron saint of the boat, the ship, the Exxon Valdez, Saint Joe.
Saint Joe. An actual person. Did you know that, everybody?
The actual captain of the Exxon Valdez, who I closed the Wikipedia page for earlier, Joe Hazelwood.
Joe Hazelwood. There's a painting of him in the captain's quarters. They love it. They love it. It's so fucking good.
The
This
subtlety
movie's
is for
so fucking
cowards.
extra. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, amazing stuff.
His variety
Um,
interview. Joseph Hazelwood gave his likeness to the movie. However, his attorney gave a statement saying the movie's producers got permission to use his name and likeness as a joke type of thing. However, we were not led to believe that Hazelwood would be portrayed in a negative light. We're glad to know he's revered. We're not so happy about what he's being revered about.
and he sure is being revered in this
Yeah.
movie.
Joseph
As the
Hazelwood's
patron saint of smoking and burning gasoline.
Joseph Hazelwood's statement on the movie. I suppose I'll get around to watching it.
I wonder if he ever did. Died last year.
He did die last year.
He did die last year.
He died with COVID, not from COVID, like Brandon would have you believe.
Uh-uh.
I don't know how he died.
COVID adjacent death. Oh shit.
This movie rules.
This movie fucking rules. Let's see. Oh shit, that's what she says about the Mariner. The Mariner doesn't have a name, so death can't find him. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. The list is like kind of silly, but she's just like, she's so
spitting.
cool. She's spitting. Let's see. Also, on the boat before all that, this is important. The Mariner takes out his big box of National Geographics and is looking at them and comparing them to drawings that Enola was doing on the ship, and was like, "Holy shit, she's been to dry land," and then doesn't tell that to Helen until later. Later on, he's like, "Oh yeah, I figured it out earlier."
He and Helen, after their boat gets torched, they get picked up by our old pal Gregor, who's like, "That's a great idea, burning your boat. I found you."
I didn't find you because your boat was on fire.
Thank you for setting your boat on fire for me. So he picks him up on his flying contraption. He knows how to throw a rope now.
Mm-hmm.
But
more of a drop, but it works.
Whatever works. But
whatever cuts it.
Yeah. So he takes him back to the other survivors from the atoll, who immediately are like, "No, I'm not fucking with this fish freak."
Yeah, they're like still racist. They're like, yeah, this guy sucks.
Get him out of here,
fish.
So he's like, you know what? Fine, I can see when I'm not wanted, so I'm gonna go on a suicide mission to save Enola, and fuck you all.
Mm-hmm.
And he scoots off on one of the smokers' jet skis, and somehow finds Smoker HQ and just drives up to it. The Exxon Valdez scales the wall with these footholds and handholds, and makes his way onto the ship, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake in dead bodies.
And this is when Enola's doing the line reads.
Yeah,
they're just like, the Mariner doesn't have a name, so death can't find him. And
he's like killing people.
He could disappear in the noon sun, and
he's not afraid of anything, men least of all.
Yeah. Yeah, like fucking he's spitting, and these guys are just like obviously a little shaken by it.
Yeah,
including Nord, which is the name of the guy from who's been
took
like
his
the
boots.
Secondary antagonist. Yeah, the boot guy. Yeah.
So
which great name for him, honestly.
While Kevin Costner is carving this path of destruction through the ship, the deacon is delivering a sermon and throwing canned meat out onto the deck for people to partake in.
Cans of smeat.
Cans of smeat.
It's not spam, it's smeat.
Yeah, so they're eating up and they're going to church, basically. They're worshiping God. Joe Hazelwood.
Yeah.
And the deacon's talking about how they're gonna find dry land, and they have the map now, and he takes the kid out and he waves the kid around at everyone, and they're like, yeah. Mhm.
You'll be led by a child. Everyone's like, "Wow, it's prophecy!"
What?
And then they say, "Go row," and they just start rowing, and they get this really good shot of the whole room full of people rowing the Exxon Valdez, like a fucking like a Roman galley, and fucking they've got this guy who's doing the shouting at the front. I can't remember what that's called. I know that row teams have those, but they call out row, and this guy has a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's got like a headband on. It looks almost like a Naruto headband because it's got like a metal plate on it. And he goes, and then everyone just starts rowing, and it's fucking a beautifully shot little stupid scene in there. And God, there's so many of those. There's so many of those little stupid little things. I love it. And then after everybody's rowing, you've got fucking the Mariner comes up on the deck, and everybody's like, "Who's that? Why aren't you rowing? Are you like a spare rower? What the fuck are you doing?" And he just walks up and takes off his goggles that he stole from Horse, the one of the smokers from down below, and just goes into takes them off, and they're like, "Oh shit, it's the Mariner. What the fuck are you doing here?" And they have a little exposition with each other. They're like, "We're gonna do bad things." Deacon's like, "I'm gonna do some bad stuff," and it's like, "Okay, all right." The Mariner pulls out a flare and holds it over the like a pipe that apparently just goes straight to the oil chamber. And they're like, "You're not gonna fucking do that. If you blow that up, you're gonna blow us all up." And he's like, "Yeah, I guess. Fucking."
It's not about the money.
Go.
About sending a message.
It's about sending a message. And then this is when we get to meet the Mariner as terrorist, as he drops a fucking a flare into this pit. We get to see a beautiful scene where Depth Gauge is sitting in his little boat on the river of oil. And he sees the flare drop into the oil, and he says, "Oh, thank God," as the ship explodes, and he dies immediately.
Yeah. Can't say I blame him.
No,
say I
that sounds
haven't
like
been
a
there.
horrible life. Yeah. Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And you can see the explosion on his glasses before he's incinerated, and I just love it.
Yeah.
And the ship fucking explodes. There's fire everywhere, belching out of every hole. All of the rowers are instantly incinerated, it seems like. It's just like, wow, that was a lot of people dying all over.
Yeah, they deserved it. They had it coming.
I mean, they were smoking. They were
talking about golf.
True. So so then they have their little firefight on the top of the ship. Kevin Costner jumps into a hole and is like shooting people everywhere.
Yeah, they're running around and being crazy,
Mm-hmm. Deacon gets in a plane and takes Enola with him because he knows the ship's about to go down. Fucking one of 3 times that Deacon is gonna die in this movie.
4 times if you count the first initial big fireball that he survived.
Oh, true. Yeah, it's 4. Yeah. 4th time's a charm, as they say. Kevin Costner goes around and starts executing like the leading counsel of the deacon, and save Enola's in the plane with the deacon, so he has to like zip line down in front of an explosion.
Yeah, he makes the zip line himself too. He fires a harpoon over there, and then like finds this big hook to zip line down with, ties off the harpoon on the other end, and then just fucking goes for it, and then throws the harpoon up onto the plane and crashes it because the plane is a giant piece of shit.
It's
like falls
garbage.
apart immediately.
Yeah, the bottom just falls right out of it.
Yeah.
Fucking it's crashed. He goes over to it. Deacon is
laying
unconscious,
motionless.
presumably dead. So he grabs Enola and they hug, and because he's fully accepted humans now. He loves these two people. And so he goes to save them. They
I'm not going to throw you off the boat anymore.
Yeah. He's been freed from his possession, so he's now he can care about people. Another stupid read of the movie I could probably make. Let's go. Fucking Gregor shows up to save them with a couple of people, the sheriff and Helen. They and so they throw a rope down. They're getting good at throwing ropes, you know. So they bring up Kevin Costner and Enola. They start flying away, but Deacon is not dead. So he shoots at the ship, hits a rope that's holding it to the balloon, and Enola, who's just sitting on the side of the thing, gets knocked backwards into the ocean. And then he's like, oh wait, no, that's right. No, he's on the rope that they're climbing up first. Then he gets kicked off. Then he's in the ocean. He gets on a ski-doo, and then Enola gets knocked off. Then Kevin Costner creates a fucking bungee jumping line.
Yeah, he like finds this piece of rubber that Gregor just happens to have and ties it around his waist and then says, tie the other end of this, and then immediately jumps off and does not wait at all.
Doesn't wait 1 second. Fucking Helen gets it tied up just in time.
Yeah.
Of course. He gets Enola out of the water. And then all three of these smoker ski-doos that are charging at Enola smash into each other and explode. So you get another shot of Kevin Costner in the air with just a big fireball behind him. Very fun. And then they get onto the airship, and start flying away as the Exxon Valdez sinks into the ocean.
Yeah. And you literally see the words Exxon Valdez on the back of the ship as it sinks down.
It's the very last scene of that sequence is just Exxon Valdez sinking into the ocean. It's just subtlety.
Yeah, none of it here.
Not here.
So then they figure out the map. They the IMDb synopsis says Gregor deciphers the map, translating the Asian symbols using an old and tattered China Airlines magazine.
Oh, look, a language sample. I can just figure it out real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, all right, man. Sure.
Yeah. And then they find
spiritually true to the movie, you know?
They're cruising around on the catamaran, and they realize that the coordinates on there are in the other direction because the poles flipped at some point. So what their south is our north.
Yeah, the Mariner figured that out some time ago, and because
just never told anyone.
Cities apparently, and didn't tell anybody. He's like, oh yeah, the poles flip.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they fly off and they land on dry land at the peak of Mount Everest. And Enola runs out and finds her skeletal parents and completely disregards them and plays around with the music box, and everyone is just sort of uncomfortable.
And it's that song that she's been singing through the whole movie.
Yeah, the one that Kevin Costner threatened to smack the shit out of her for humming on the boat is on the music box.
Yep. It's in the music box. It's all coming together.
Oh yeah.
And then Kevin Costner's like, I can't get used to the dry land. It doesn't move right. It's like, yeah, because it's not moving. And yeah, you're right. And so he's like, I gotta go back to the ocean. Everybody else is like, we're just land sick. We just gotta wait. We'll figure it out. It'll be better. And Kevin Costner's like, nah,
he was born to be at sea. He was born to goon in the sea.
So he says his goodbyes, collects a bunch of plants that he can go sell. And fucking takes off into the ocean again. And that's the end of the movie. I think that's it, right? Yeah.
I do. Yep. So I feel like this has been a pretty comprehensive review of Waterworld. There's more that I think we didn't touch on. This is our longest episode of the podcast so far.
Oh god.
If you have enjoyed this whole thing, we're gonna make it quick. Please send us whatever random bullshit pops into your head. related to the podcast and not like a dick pic, please.
Yeah, no dick pics. But if you have a joke that you'd like to send in,
or if it's a picture of
if it's
someone
funny-
else's cock and it's really, really funny. Really funny.
if it's like an elephant like thong with the dick for the trunk,
Yeah.
that's maybe okay. But like,
Yeah.
you know,
Listen,
like,
if you
if
don't
it's
know,
like-
you
if
don't
it's got-
know.
if it's like a puppet, if it's like dick puppetry,
Or if it was like a dude that had like two dicks, you know? Like a double dick dude, like that guy on Reddit.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. You can send all of those specific dick pics and also all non-dick pic related matters to edgelordpod@gmail.com. You can find me
Mostly non-dick pics. Thank you.
You can find me at @cursed_monk on Twitter. Find Brian.
And you can find me at Trashcan1312 on Twitter, and Brian Trash pretty much everywhere else. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And this has been Edging with Trash and Monk. Edgy later, home slice.